Alright folks, how you doing? Welcome back to the Mars Mystery. Disclaimer, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use, yada yada yada. You know the drill by now, I'm sure. So this is Hidden Things, Camera Obscura, Part 1. Camera Obscura. Hancock writes, quote, in the early 1900s in Cottingley near Bradford, Elsie Wright and Francis Griffith took photographs of fairies at the bottom of their garden. This proved to be a hoax, by the way. They got away with it because photography was in its infancy. Hancock emphasizes that today people are more savvy about trick photography and special effects. He states, quote, imaging has come such a long way since the Cottingley fairies that it is now impossible to tell a doctored photograph from an undoctored. We all could have been taken in many times. Crying wolf. So returning to the subject of Mars, Hancock writes, in 1992, shortly before the launch of the doomed Mars Observer, Congressman Howard Wolpe claimed to have discovered an official two-page document titled Suggestions for Anticipating Requests under Freedom of Information Act. The document dealt with ways that NASA could circumvent this act and thus withhold public information which by law they were entitled to see. He continues, Wolpe wrote to Admiral Richard Truly, then head of NASA, saying this NASA document instructs governmental employees to 1. Rewrite or even destroy documents, 2. Mix up documents and camouflage handwriting so that the document significance would be, quote, less meaningful, and 3. Take steps to, quote, enhance the utility of various Freedom of Information Act exemptions. Soon after, Admiral Truly was sacked by President Bush and replaced by Daniel Golden. Hancock states that no investigation into NASA's efforts to circumvent the Freedom of Information Act was or has been authorized, much less carried out. He states, quote, all this was done, comments McDaniel, not to confound enemy spies, but to make it difficult for private citizens or agencies or Congress or the press to obtain information under the Freedom of Information Act. Hancock states that McDaniel was doubtful that NASA would even share new photographs with the public, especially anything to do with Cydonia, as they had completely relinquished control over to Dr. Malin, quote, a man known for his implacable hostility to the hypothesis of artificial origins at Cydonia. He then gives us a brief biography of Dr. Malin, but if you want that part, get the book. Skip. Malin and Observer. So Hancock writes, quote, we were astonished to learn that even the mission manager at JPL had no authority to tell Malin what to do. Malin's Mars Observer contract not only gave him absolute authority over where to point the cameras, but also gave his corporation, quote, exclusive control of images obtained from the spacecraft for 6 months with no clear statement of accountability. This worried many AOC researchers. They saw a system ripe for abuse, designed to facilitate the doctoring or suppression of information. I mean, there he is winning an awards. What is this? Biggest. Hancock goes on to state that there was a growing clamour for Malin's grip to be curtailed and that, quote, the AOC lobby continually sought assurances from NASA that Cydonia would be re-imaged, the undoctored results made public. NASA's position was neither a popular nor a defensible one. He continues, quote, the one thing that the public really wanted to know was, would NASA re-image Cydonia? Then, on 21st August 1993, all contact with the spacecraft was lost. At the crucial moment, Mars Observer officially disappeared. Imagine that. I mean, you're all shocked, right? You all have to sit down, don't you? Loss. Quote, readers will remember that this devastating loss occurred during a very risky act, writes Hancock. Quote, the deliberate switching off of telemetry, contact between observer and Earth. Hancock goes into great detail, but if you want more, get the book. He concludes, quote, Mars Observer was 450 million miles from home. Had it found something others did not want us to see? necessitating a pulling of the plug? Or is it even now orbiting Mars, sending back information to someone? So there you go. It's just looking shadier and shadier, isn't it? The more you go into it. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty much airtight case at this point that they're up to no good. NASA, they're whatever they found at Cydonia, they're not telling us. That's for damn sure. God only knows who they are telling, But it's just getting more and more corrupt, more and more shady, more and more, as the English like to say, diabolical. That's got to be the most British word ever, isn't it? Diabolical. It is diabolical, bruv. Diabolical. So anyway, what do you make of this diabolical turn for the worse? Leave your comments in the comments section down below, especially if they're diabolical. See you the next time.